What's going on? This is Cody. That's my buddy Chris. And of course, we got Maya here. It is time for a special edition of the latest news to keep you in the groove with Maya. And Maya, I am so pumped because we have a very special guest on the phone. Is that right?
Yeah.
You might know him from all sorts of things. There's so many things might know him from. You know, if you're an adult or you're really into scary movies, you definitely know this guy maybe as the Candyman. Maybe you know him from Star Trek. Maybe you know him from Riverdale. Maybe you know him from Psych. Maybe you know him from Chuck.
Maybe from Dead of Summer.
From Dead of Summer. I could go on and on. On the phone, we got Tony Todd.
Tony, you there?
Yeah, what's up, everybody?
Yeah, Tony.
Take it away, Maya.
Okay. So, you play a lot of creepy characters in shows, and I was wondering what draws you to those roles.
Well, no, I don't seek those kind of roles out. I mean, I have a master's in theater, so, like, you know, an actor's only, you know, you have to deal with the cards that you're dealt with. So those are the roles that come up, and those are what I do.
Oh, right on. Yeah, those are that's what's available.
Yeah, but they're all completely different. Every role is completely different from the other, and whenever it gets too stagnant, I return to theater, which is my first love.
Live theater.
Yeah, I've actually been at the Denver Theater Center like 4 years ago.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
It was a great time.
Real quick, tell us your favorite live theater role that you've done.
I originated King Hedley II, which is one of the August Wilson 10-play dioramas. So that was good. I lived with that for 3 years, and I've also been on Broadway twice. So, you know, I just turned down doing another August Wilson play because I have new agencies, and we're really concentrating on television for the first time in a long time.
Very cool. Right on. Maya, what you got next?
Yeah.
So are you a huge fan of, like, horror movies?
Am I? I'm a fan of all kinds of movies. I grew up raised by my aunt. So, you know, I was a single kid, and every night we would watch a movie together and then use that as a point of discussion and dialogue, which sort of shaped my whole life outlook. But do I love horror films? I love all kinds of films. My library is quite extensive.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you've guest starred in some of my favorite shows, Psych,
like
Chuck.
What? Psych, okay. Chuck, yeah.
The Flash, and Riverdale.
Riverdale was just up, if I recall.
And do you have a favorite show that you've guest starred in?
I like the ones that are really popular because they tend to keep being repeated. If you push me, I did season 7 of 24.
Oh yeah, that's right.
The show was a hit at that time, and it was a lot of fun. But you know, I also do video games. I just did a big one. Can't tell you about, but it's huge.
Awesome.
Just actually wrapped it about a month ago.
What other video games, especially for kids who are watching in the hospital upstairs, that you've been in, might they know about?
Well, I don't know. They do a little Call of Duty. I did Call of Duty Black Ops 2.
Oh, yeah.
Playing, Admiral Briggs. You know,
I mean, we know
Star Trek games.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
A lot of our kids here love that.
Upstairs in the hospital, by the way. I hope they're, you know, smiling big.
Well, they get to have an extra special big smile when we get people like you calling in and making their day for sure. So thank you, Tony.
That's fantastic.
Yeah,
that makes my season. Yeah. As a matter of fact, this Saturday we're working with an organization called My Brother's Keeper here in L.A., where we're actually passing out backpacks to a whole quadrant of homeless people. And, you know, sometimes you take for granted those things that, you know, are kind of essential for day-to-day living, like a comb, a $5 bill, a chain dispenser, a paste, toothbrush, a hairbrush. So our backpacks are going to be loaded with those.
That's awesome.
That's great.
It's good work, man. It's good work.
Thank you, man. You too.
Maya, what else do you have?
So out of all the roles that you've played, out of all the characters, what has been your favorite role?
I'm a father of two, and I've learned it when they were very young. You never differentiate between them. They're all these roles are like kids. They're all like kids that have been given life through what I do, all 6'5" of me. So I can't say that. I mean, I can only say what have been favorites for the fans. So, well, what's your favorite, Maya? And I'll tell you whether I agree.
She's thinking. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So I really liked you in Psych, and then in Dead of Summer.
That's so sweet of you. I wish that Dead of Summer would have been picked up for more seasons, but we had a blast when we made that.
Too.
We shot it in one of my favorite places, Vancouver, BC, which every kid should get a chance to go sit up on Lake Jasper and just bathe at the majesty up there. But Psych was also fun. That was another show shot in Vancouver. So I hear they're going to be making a movie of that. So we'll see what happens.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, Maya, she has a show here weekly in this studio, and she actually highlighted the upcoming movie of Psych. So,
that's cool.
oh,
Excellent.
and she was telling us all about it, keeping us all updated. She says it already came out.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know. I thought it was still in pre-production. But
Yeah, if you tune into Maya's show, you'll be in the groove like us.
Okay, I need to be in the groove. I need to stop being outside the groove.
Yeah, you don't want to be outside the groove.
So her show title is Latest News to keep you in the groove, so people like myself and Cody understand what's going on with kids like Maya. So yeah, she helps us out.
Don't ever fall a step behind, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Chris needs all the help he can get.
Oh, well, you know what? He's not the only one. There's a lot of us that live in the dark.
That's
you
true.
Keep up the good work, Maya.
Thanks. So, what would be your dream show to guest star on?
Or just a star on, for that matter, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're entertaining a bunch of offers for this upcoming season. I've always avoided being a regular in a TV series because I'm a character actor, and I don't, I like to play different characters. So we're targeting, places like HBO and FX, things that do cutting edge adult drama stuff. So hopefully you'll be seeing me on one of those very soon.
Oh, nice.
But I will say there's an upcoming miniseries for MTV that we've already shot that comes out in March. I can't tell you the name of it. There's so much what they call non-disclosure these days.
Oh yeah.
You gotta live in the dark for months on edge and not even tell your intimate family and friends, otherwise for fear of death ensuing. So, but it's gonna be a huge miniseries for MTV.
That's awesome.
We'll be looking for that in March.
Yeah. Thank you.
Was there a particular? I'm gonna turn Maya's question into another one. Was there a particular TV show, maybe from your childhood, that would have been like, oh, that'd have been cool to be on back then? That's maybe not on anymore, but that.
Yeah. I grew up on Lost in Space. I was a big fan of the robot and stuff like that. But I watched Star Trek as a kid, and then when I finally got to LA and to land a role of a Klingon on that was pretty astounding, and to actually be on board the Enterprise. So, dreams do come true for all those kids out there.
That's cool.
You see it, you be it, and you put yourself in it, no matter what.
That's an iconic role for sure. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, thank you.
What else you got, Maya?
So you played the character Holyoke in Dead of Summer, and I was wondering what that experience was like. That show had an interesting premise. They were going to, had it gone beyond one season, they were going to spend each season in another decade at the same summer camp. And of course, since my character was a ghost, I was always going to be there. It was very cold. Being a ghost. I mean, we shot nights up there, and we were right there on the river's edge, and it was freezing. I felt bad for a lot of the kids that were on the show that actually had to go in the water like at 3 a.m. But
geez.
somehow we all did it because we knew that we were doing something, entertainment. It's being an entertainer is a blessing because we get paid to do what people love to see and what people love to do, and it keeps us all like big kids at heart. So
yeah, and you got people like Maya who for sure. I mean, if you couldn't tell already, she's a true fan. She really follows this stuff and knows your work
so
well.
Sweet.
And so, you're definitely
that's so flattering.
Well, you're definitely making a lot of smiles here. So that's much appreciated.
Wonderful. Can I feel your smile, Maya? Can I feel it? Bigger, bigger, bigger. Wonderful.
Yeah. So yeah, my family and I watched the pilot episode of Dead of Summer right before I went to camp, and after we watched it, I was like begging my mom I did not want to go to camp.
Send you to camp. Oh no, but I bet you went anyway, and it was a great time, wasn't it?
It was a time for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's saying for sure.
When I was a kid, I was a member of the Boy Scouts, and actually ended up with one badge shy of my Life Scout Award. But I got to go to the World Jamboree in Japan when I was like 12.
Oh, wow.
First time on a plane, just completely opened up my eyes to a sort of a global experience, filled with smiles and training with other scouts my age, so I can relate.
Yeah, for sure. Getting those experiences is priceless.
Oh, yeah. And that's what we have to cherish is both young and old people.
That's right. That's right. I think Maya's got a couple more questions for you.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Maya.
Sure.
But just so there was another time, like one time I was in the hospital and my mom and I watched an episode of Dead of Summer while I was in the hospital, and then after we watched it, we were both kind of scared.
But you were entertained.
Yeah.
But you saw all the episodes, right?
You saw all the episodes, right, Maya?
Yes.
Probably multiple times.
You know that. Yeah. Oh, good. So you know that at the end, I ended up being the good guy, right?
Yes. I was really happy when I found out Holyoke was a good guy.
That's wonderful. See, that makes all that cold weather and long nights well worth it.
Yes, it does. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. So you were a part of the. Oh wait. I know. I already asked. That's okay. No, but he already answered this question.
Then go to the next question. You're doing a good job, girl.
Okay.
Yeah, go to this one.
Tony, you're so good. You already answered a question she didn't ask.
Okay.
Okay. I'm trying to use my psychic ability. Go ahead.
Yeah, at least I think he.
Yep, he already answered that one, girl. You're good.
Go ahead.
So you've been on Broadway and on TV and in movies. Do you have a favorite one out of those that you like doing more?
Well, yeah. Well, because I went to a great theater school, Trinity Rep Conservatory in Providence, Rhode Island, and before that at Union Theater Center. That's always been my most passionate way to express myself. And there's nothing like live theater. I mean, the time I spent in Denver Theater Center, you do the work. It's like immediate. It's you feel the audience's responses, and then you go out and try to have a normal life, have a meal, enjoy some nightlife, and get ready to go to sleep and get up and do it again. That's always been the most rewarding. It's the least amount of money in terms of pay, but it's in terms of complete satisfaction. It's like blowing up a big balloon. And you can have a choice of like $100 toys and stuff, but if you have this one balloon that you can blow up and it never bursts, that'll last your lifetime.
That's a great analogy. It's really cool. What I've always found interesting about live theater too, I've never done it myself. My dad is an actor and has done a lot, and
that's cool.
Is how different each audience can be, right? I mean, like from night to night.
Yeah, it changes. It morphs with each audience, but the story remains the same.
Right.
So therefore, you may have a different. Like we always prefer. We have what they call high school matinees, where we bring in underprivileged kids for each performance. Those are always some of the most rewarding, because I remember when I was 13, 14, I saw my first live theater, and it affected me deeply. Well, so much so that I'm talking to you, Maya, right now about this crazy career. But it's just life's a sermon, and it's the small things in life that you got to treasure.
That's so true. So true. All right,
Go ahead, Maya.
So, what is like your favorite TV show of all time?
That's a tough one. I mean, I have so many. I really don't know if. Well, maybe the original Batman
with Adam West.
Adam West. Yeah, who I got to meet when he was with us. Yeah, I guess because I was maybe 13 when that came out, and everybody in school, we would all talk about who we thought was going to be on it, and then we go in and then watch it and be amazed, and then the next day we talk about it again. So I think pound for pound, that was probably it.
Batman.
Yeah, that's a good one for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, I think Maya's got it down to 2 more questions for you, Tony.
Okay.
Why don't you ask the last 2 that you've got right there?
Okay. So, what movie could you watch 1,000,000 times?
Oh, wow. I probably have to say, you may not have seen this, but Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. Not only does it have horrific elements, but it's filled with comedy, high comedy, and you get to see your favorite movie monsters from the Universal days all in one picture.
I will say that in all of Maya's call-in shows, and I think there's been in excess of 30 or so now, we've never had that movie brought up.
Never once.
You win. You win.
Maybe they were ashamed to say it, but, sometimes you got to go lowbrow before you go highbrow.
Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. That's so good. That was really cool. Maya, you got to put that on your must-see list, okay?
What movie?
Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein.
Okay.
She's like, I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
I've never heard of any of the parts, but I'll see if I can find it.
You got a whole life to figure this out.
Yeah.
So,
For sure.
So one last one, Maya?
Yeah, one more.
Okay. Yeah. So, who do you consider to be a real-life superhero and why?
Probably my Aunt Clara, who was a woman that rescued me and raised me from the age of 3. She's no longer with us, but I didn't even know that we were poor until we were about 13. But the thing that she did for me was every summer she put me in a different program, whether it was geology or scouting or science or theater, and just kept my mind occupied during a very, a time when a person could be easily led astray and fall into negative activity. And just encouraged. When I told her I wanted to be an actor and go to school, she had dreams of me being a lawyer, but she didn't bat an eye. So as long as you do it to your fullest, I'm going to be proud of you no matter what. So she's probably my personal superhero.
That is so great.
Sounds like an incredible lady.
She was.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, Tony.
Yeah.
All right,
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you so much for calling in and letting me interview you. I think
I told you that I would.
Yeah. I think it was after you guest starred in Riverdale. I was like, I'm gonna see if I can find him on Twitter and tweet him about an interview. And I was like, he's such a big actor. There's no way he's going to see this. And then the next day, I screamed and I think I scared my mom. But I was like, Tony Todd just followed me and he sent me a direct message. And
well, that's
that's so sweet. I appreciate it, Maya. That made my year. And to you and all your friends there and upstairs in the hospital, happy holidays.
Thank you, Tony.
So much, Tony.
you.
You too.
We appreciate
Thank
it.
you, guys.
All right. Bye.
Take care.
pleasure.
Bye-bye.